Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome inside the studio. Chad Rosemay here to host the action on the Thursday edition of Woodbine Racing Live as we're back at it. A couple of days off, but now back into another 5-day rotation. But an exciting 5-day rotation, and that is going to be the theme over the next several weeks here at Woodbine Mohawk Park as we seem to take center stage. Our Grand Circuit meet is underway, and we've got some big races coming up this weekend as I welcome in a gentleman that won many of the big races that were contested over the years here, Hall of Famer Randy Waples. Eliminations last weekend were contested. Now that's going to carry on this weekend, Randy, to a big night Saturday, headlined by a couple of Grade 1 finals, but more eliminations. We've got, I wasn't confident we'd have some for the Maple Leaf Trot. They're short of limbs, but we had enough. 12, I think, or 13 entered, I think it was for that. Pacing Derby, limbs, that's on Saturday. And straight to a final are going to be the Milton mares. Just 9 of them dropped in the box for that, I think it was. We'll have some prepping, including Twinbee Joe Fresh. It's an exciting time.
It is, yeah. I've said this before. I mean, I'm not whining to anybody, but I honestly do think that the Milton should be a Grade 1, not a Grade 2.
Right? Yeah.
You know, that both of those open mare stakes.
Rosa Red's a Grade 1, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so the Milton gets the exact same horses. Usually the same horses win both. You know what I mean? The best ones show up for both of them. So to me, I just think that both of them should be Grade 1s. And I mean, and if you're such been such a great partner with the town of Milton all these years, why wouldn't you make it a Grade 1? You know what I mean? Bump the purse if you have to. But that's a tough race to win. That's not an easy race to win. I mean, no more than the Roses are Red.
Means in a couple of weeks, not only will we have you from Milton, we'll have Gord Krantz here.
Yeah.
As well.
There you
right?
go. All the old people night. Yeah. Just should bring in Hazel McCallion where it'll be all
hey,
be good.
There you go.
It'll all be good.
There you go. What you saw behind us there was just a promotion for Saturday and what we've got headlined as part of, because we've got, 13 tomorrow, but then we've got 12 on Saturday. Bit of a later post than usual, 6:45, plus obviously, we'll get going a little bit after that. But featured stakes races, a couple of Grade 1s in the Wellwood Memorial Final and the Peace Away Final, eliminations for the Pacing Derby, but also for the 2-year-olds. They start to prep towards some bigger, elimination final races like the She's a Great Lady and the Metro Pace, because we've got the Nassagaweya and the Eternal Cam Nation for those rookies on the pace. Just going to be exciting. As far as wagering menu goes, early pick 5 guaranteed at $75,000. That's the usual. The Woodbine Stakes $5 pick 3. I'm not sure exactly which races those are just yet, but it's just kind of an added opportunity for some of the bigger players that want to jump in on a $5 minimum. And then the mandatory payout for the Jackpot High 5 is scheduled for Saturday, so you get to play it tonight and tomorrow. And if it doesn't go, I mean, we're $250,000 plus, in carryover money, because we're just shy of 228 coming into tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I don't know who comes up with that decision, and I'm not saying it's a bad decision. I'm just saying that I'd like to see it keep going myself. You know what I mean?
Alice and I talked about this on Monday, and when I saw the news, I think the news came through to us on, maybe it was the Tuesday, I think the next day. And first thing I thought in my head was, there Alice and I go and ruin this.
What did you guys? Did you guys say they should pay it out?
No, we were hoping that we just let it grow. Like
me
used
too.
To do. But unfortunately, for us who like to see that, I know many others do like to see it grow as well. I think those days are gone.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because, I mean, you're always looking for things to spice things up. And how could that not be spicy if it starts to get up to crazy numbers like a $400,000? Not to mention, if you get up that high, you're going to get a lot of live money bet into it. Yeah. I mean, it would grow like crazy, I just wish that they would let it one time just to see what would happen, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the times when like 800,000.
Yeah. It was huge. So it was huge.
Computer players love to play it. A lot of computer money comes in, in wagering on that. But, if you play it yourself as, let's say, just an individual or a couple of you put in together a ticket, all of that money that they're playing, if you can, maybe get some of that in obviously correctly selecting the top 5 finishers, then you're hopefully ahead of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of it's going to come down to this matter. You said the mandatories is Saturday.
Saturday, yep.
So it'll be basically what do we have in the last race over the next few days to see if we can even get it that far, because there's been times that we've called mandatory and then somebody's gone right out and won it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The next night or something like that. The night before, we go for the mandatory. But one of these times, I really, really do hope that they just let her roll.
Let her ride.
Let her ride.
Yeah.
See what happens. You know what I mean? See if that doesn't juice things up there looking at the standardbred world.
Speaking of the standardbred world, some big news over the last couple of days. One that was announced today and then one that was announced yesterday, but we'll start with what was today. Willys home run heading to the breeding shed. You know, we haven't seen her for a while. I understand she's in full to Chapter 7.
Nice.
You know, so in Kentucky right now to earn that dual breed to be able to race there in Kentucky, and then also, you know, elsewhere. The plan is for her to be there for maybe a few years south of the border, then come back here to Ontario and do some breeding here as well. But
big, good-looking mare. Big, good-looking.
That family,
clean
right?
gated,
right out of the park.
But clean gated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now they go to a sire who doesn't throw huge size, but you know the horses are well put together. The Chapter 7, and they're incredibly smart. Very interesting to see what happens here, you know, with her being bred to that one. And the other mare, too, we're losing her as well, so much more.
Yeah, we'll talk about her in a moment. We're going to have a look back at one of the Super Final wins.
Oh, cool.
There was a bunch of OSS wins, but she won Super Final 2 and 3, Willys home run.
What a gate.
So, yeah, this is her 2024 OSS Gold Final with a voice that we all miss far too much. We'll actually queue up this audio here. Let's have Ken Middleton take us home in this Gold Super Final.
Cover comes Willys home run. Peel Rainbow Dash 4 wide and driving. No one looks for racetrack late. Willys home run explodes off cover and drives away here in deep stretch. Peel Rainbow Dash in hot pursuit in second, but in a race for place it appears as Willys home run will touch them all. Willys home run to score by 4 lengths in the super final over PL Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, she did have a nice lead in.
Oh, and the size and you know what I mean. She didn't hardly wear anything. Had great desire. Oh, I think she's going to be something as a broodmare. You know, very, very interested.
And all the connections involved with kind of this family too. We know, Reg Higgs and Dr. Sarah Gatchell together with her. Just having a lot of fun. You know, when you're talking Logan Park and all that. You know, and always seeing nice big groups out there. So wishing her all the best. We'll miss her on the track. We can't wait to see her offspring hitting the track in parimutuel events. So that'll be down the road. As Randy alluded to, the great So Much More. This was announced yesterday. Another one that we kind of hadn't seen in a while. We knew it was going to happen sooner than later. And So Much More for the Beatsons have called it a career as far as racing goes. But now she's off to the next one that we hope is just fantastic. She's in full to All Bets Off in there. So All Bets Off getting a nice mare.
Yeah.
To meet up with. And she's a big gym, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
you can pretty well go anywhere, I think, with the big gyms, right?
So we'll see with So Much More. But 79 career wins. Many of them here and at the top level.
Yeah.
Whether it was against her own kind or even the boys.
Even the
She was
boys.
able to beat the boys. I think, what was it originally? $50,000 was the purchase price for Don and Ken Beaton.
Jeez, was it that much? I wouldn't have even.
I thought I remember. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but
Didn't they buy her off of On Gate or something?
Is that what it? I'm not. But I thought I remember it being a $50,000 investment, which that's
big
still
money.
a big chunk.
Big money for horse.
But
she
in
was coming
hindsight,
from the East Coast.
Yes, but in hindsight,
it was a bargain.
Yeah. No, and she was, we sort of labeled her Canada's pacing queen, 3-time O'Brien Award champion for older pacing mare here in Canada. And we are going to show a replay of one of her many wins at our top level. She had so many in the fillies and mares, but as mentioned, she was able to beat the boys as well, including on this February winter night. The free-for-all in sub 50 in February for her.
Unbelievable, eh? I mean,
And first over, too.
Unreal. Right? And here's if the Beatsons are listening out there, if you're looking for a name for one of her first foals, I would call it None Shall Pass. Because I always remember that was a line from Monty Python's Holy Grail there, where they couldn't get by the Black Knight when he'd say, "None shall pass." And she was the same way. If a horse would get up alongside of her, her ears would disappear right up against her neck, and it was none shall pass. She'd let them get up alongside of her, but she would not let them get by her.
There's many traits that you hope she passes on, but the determination from her is one of those. I mean, I think even in some of my race calls with her, you're fortunate to be able to call a great pacing mare like her, saying, you know, we've seen this movie before where she's first over, you know, and she'll be first over. It's not first over off the last turn. It's first over from the half, or if not before that. And yet she just still finds a way to, again, she won't let anybody pass her.
None shall pass.
Yeah.
And I mean, another one, I mean, all bets off. This is great for him, but I mean, just throwing one out there, I'd love to see her bred to Always Be Mickey, because that was another horse that was just all on toughness. You know what I mean? He was tough. Wasn't the soundest horse, obviously, had his issues that way, but she is a sound horse, and she's ultra tough too. So that would be another, I think it'd be a very interesting cross. Always Be Mickey onto the great Sophie.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're, you know, Don, Ken, and Cole are all excited.
Oh, I would imagine.
You know, what she'll throw, and we're all excited to see her here. But I hope for them too. You know, I know they're not wishing for some other kind of superstar, but I hope they get another nice horse together.
Me too.
To just be able to, because, you know, they would all be here together at the racetrack, and it was just fun.
Yeah,
you know
it
what
was,
I mean? Like, how often in this day and age do you get to spend that kind of quality time with your family?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the other thing is, too, is I drove for Don Beatson years ago at Flamborough Downs. I drove a lot of horses for that guy. And I always said to myself, you know something? This is a sharp guy. The first time he gets his hands on a good horse, you know, he's just going to take over the world. And sure enough, here comes so much more. He gets his hands on her, and what a job he did of managing her through all that. You know what I mean? She had a lot of starts, like I say, at the very top level, sometimes against the boys and that, and he just kept her good at all times, you know. So definitely a great job done by Don Beatson as well. But I agree with you. I hope they get another good one, because it was so nice seeing them in here as a family.
Yeah.
Everything was done as a family.
Yeah. Wishing them all the best, and a couple of great Ontario's, you know, fantastic performers that we can't wait to see what they do in their next stage of their career. Let's get into tonight's card. We've got 10 to kick off our 5-day stretch. Some 2-year-olds again mixed in. We've got some Grassroots. They're really winding down. Championships are going to be just around the corner. It's actually like 4B for the 3-year-old trotting fillies tonight on the program. We start the card, though, with 2-year-old trotting fillies in anometers of 1, 75 grand guaranteed in the early pick 5. And I know that you do want to have a look back at Jyn Erso in the most recent outing.
No. Let's go down to July the 23rd.
Oh, July the 23rd. Okay. Yeah. What did you see there that you liked?
Well, she was in a gold, which the last outing was a gold as well. She never really seems to get the job done in golds, but she's close. She'll get money. She'll finish 4th. She'll finish 5th. So dropping into a maiden, I think that's a big advantage already. But on July the 23rd, she had the 8 hole, sat back in a gold in against, major contender, Song from Heaven, Simia, all the normal candidates there. And I just think that one of these times she's going to slide through and get the win. And this is basically why I wanted to show this, just how close she is to getting the job done in a gold. Now she's going to show up here tonight in a maiden, and really more or less just racing what I would consider to be other maiden horses, except for the 8-horse Flawless Lady, who also has been doing some gold work as well. But this one here, Jyn Erso, being driven here by Louis Waugh. Where is this race here? Yeah, she's at the back with Louis, and she's got a lot of ground to make up already, this one, and I like the way that she does it. I like the way that already he's got his shoulders back and he's looking to where to apply this, and when they move off the rail, watch how quickly he can show up in their spot. So already you don't race a horse side to side like that unless you know you got a little bit of go, and you're just making sure that you're going to be able to put it where you can apply it. He has to do a right turn here. Again, now he's going to have to bring it. Watch this at the very end. He nestles up on McClure's helmet and snuffs her. Has to bring her to a dead stop again. So at all times, to me, she always had go. I thought her last race was a very, very good effort as well, but maybe didn't show quite as much as what I thought she showed this one. Either way, every time she races in a gold, it's a good effort, and I think that dropping into this maiden, other than having to deal with the 6 and the 8, I think it's her race to win.
I mean, things continue to go really well for the Greg McNair barn. It seems every week he's just sending out multiple winners here. And some have been doing this where, in between the golds or Grassroots, whatever it may be, he's giving these 2-year-olds an opportunity to be able to get wins in, you know, these nominators of 1. Now, I know she was in 1-2 back and didn't win after, you know, chopping on most of that mile. But now in hindsight, when you see it was data privacy, you know, that got by, you know, a couple of good ones in there, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think, again, I'm looking at it that I think that this is a bit of a drop down. I don't know where it's going to work out, but right now it looks like our morning line favorite is the 6-horse Coral Cliff. And honestly, like, I mean, nothing against her, but I just don't really see where she's done anything any more than what Jyn Erso has done. So 2 is the way I'm going to go.
Yeah, Luke Blay horses always seem to open up taking money.
Yeah.
Always. The interesting one, too, is that we know with Paul Macdonell hanging it up officially here on, that was Monday.
I missed it.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have been here. I did send him a text the next day. You know what I mean? Incredible person and an incredible career. Would have loved to have been here for his last race. Would have loved to have run into him one more time.
I'd love to fall behind him and catch his wallet.
Yeah,
but to ask you before we move on here, because again, you weren't here to be able to chat about it. What was he like to compete against on the track?
Oh, incredible! Because he was one of those few guys that he could be like a lion, but at the very same time, be the nicest person in the world. He was one of those guys, and there's not many of them out there. You know what I mean? He would beat you in a race, and then you would find yourself afterwards congratulating him on his win. You know what I mean? Because you always felt so good to see him. And if you couldn't be there, then he's the guy that you wanted to be in there. Just an incredible guy. You know, off the track, on the track, he had never seen him as a weakness as a driver. He had certain weapons in his arsenal that other people didn't bring, but I never seen any weaknesses with him. He's just an overall guy that was meant to drive racehorses in his life, and he found it.
Yeah, he was world class. Seems to
world
be a
class
common theme everybody says.
Absolutely, he just is.
But anyway, Flawless Lady now moves to Julie Walker's barn. James McDonald will drive. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see what Flawless Lady can do right now, getting some support at 5-1. Over to race number 2, our first of 3 looks at the Grassroots for the 3-year-old trotting fillies. Again, like 4B, so there's going to be one more than the championship. So for some of these, it could be crunch time. They're trying to get some needed points, or maybe just keep the form going. You know, for some that perhaps are comfortable knowing they're going to be making it, this is a time to maybe experiment too, if you want to try some things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the big thing is too, is that since the purse bump, I mean, you know, you can make a ton of money just winning Grassroots now. I mean, look at a horse like Elbows Up right now. I mean, I don't think it was all Grassroots. I think she maybe raced in the SPOA as well.
Yeah, I think early on, yep.
Right, but still, she's got $107,000 put away this year. I mean, that's pretty good coin. You know, and she's only had to take a winning mark of 53 flat, you know?
But I feel like we're seeing more golds coming down to the Grassroots now this year. You know, because some of our golds we're seeing very short fields, you know, as well. But, you know, that has kind of been the case. But as we look at the points leaders, I mean, you can see who's kind of sitting, you know, sitting well right now.
Oh, wow, I never would have guessed
there.
Upgrade was ahead of her.
Yeah, Upgrade up there, you know, Elbows Up. They've had Bella Chica as well in Rare Legacy. And then, you know, some others that are kind of on the bottom, and maybe some that aren't even on this list just yet, trying to get in there. So as we look at this, it's Elbows Up that is the favorite. She comes in riding fantastic form. She's won 4 in a row. Do you stay riding with her?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to stay with her. I mean, it was tough for me to not go with Bella Chica, but that's only because in my mind, I can see Elbows Up and Bella Chica coming out of there together, and Bella Chica landing on Elbows Up's back. And Bella Chica is quick, and I always thought that maybe a quick horse could come off of Elbows Up's back, get ahead of her before Elbows Up gets into top gear. But Elbows Up is just so good right now. It's really, really tough to play against her. So Elbows Up on to Bella Chica is the way that I'm going to go.
What do you make of Rare Legacy? I mean, that last start, she was second best behind Elbows Up, but finished strong, but now shows up on Lasix.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, raced so good, and then now going to show up on the Lasix. I threw her in for third. I don't look at her as being better than Elbows Up. I don't think she's going to get as easy a trip as what we're going to see Bella Chica get in here tonight. But it's very interesting, like you say, to see a horse finished that well. Very good on end, and then all of a sudden come out on the Lasix.
Well, didn't the starts prior to that maybe suggest?
Could have.
Right?
She always seemed like there was, you know, she looked good, and then she just kind of, just kind of hang there a little bit, you know, didn't get as aggressive on the end of it. So definitely could see that, but unfortunately, because of the way our Lasix program works, now she's going to be coming in here with an August 9th date. some of these other ones, Belichick, August, and Elbows Up, both August 17th. I got to give the nod to them. But Rare Legacy, going to throw her in for third. And I mean, I could easily be wrong on this one. If Lasix helps her like it helps other horses, I mean, we could be looking at a 52 effort in here tonight.
Yeah, wow. But Elbows Up trying to extend the streak to 5. Race number 3, we'll stick with Trotters. Yet again, back to the 2-year-olds and our non-winners of 1 here with a group of 8 to kick off the early pick 4. In race number 3, it's Our Northern Star from Randy will label as a tricky rail position. But again, another one that did try gold in the latest. Now, if there is a positive coming out of that last start and the qualifier is the fact that this guy kept trotting.
Right? And I mean, what about that qualifier in 55?
Yep.
Like, where did that come from? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I threw him in for third, dropped down, wicked qualifier to get him to this point. Not a big fan of the rail, you know that. So I threw him in for third. But where I'm going to go in this one is the 3-horse T.H. Patrick. Yeah, going to head with this guy. Wearing the trotting hobbles for Clark Bilby. And we're going to show you the replay of T.H. Patrick's last start here. I thought it was a very, very good one. Only start, I guess. One lifetime start. And one time that I think that we can come right back and maybe put him on top. Tyler Jones drove him in his last start. He's going to come right back with this guy in here tonight, and I like that about him. You know, it's nice to have the same guy drive when you think that the horse, you know, raced very, very well. Already you can tell by Tyler's body language there. I like the way that he's looking around. Again, if you got a horse that's just got nothing at this point, the body language of the driver will pretty well tell you, you know, what it is that they have. And you can see with Tyler, he started way back. At all times, he's making sure that there's going to be room to put up here. Right now, I mean, he's going to have to just put a piece of paper in between his wheel and slide up by Drury. But once the wheels gets by, then he lets this guy trot. And I thought he had good wheels. Very, very sneaky, but good on the end of it. So I'm going to go T.H. Patrick with Clark Bealby in here.
Yeah, nice debut for him. Bacho Blue Chip, who won that race, was one that you had on top. He was supposed to win that, or he was expected to in that contest. So T.H. Patrick,
And the one that was second to him, that Fort Liberty. Not a bad looking horse. See him later on, you know, but not a bad horse either. So I thought he finished, you know, third and against two real nice horses, and really couldn't really let him fully extend down the lane until he got past Jonathan, you know what I mean? Then he let him rock. So he could have been even a little bit closer.
Looks like Meg Crone's got a decent well-bred one from that first crop at King of the North in Kerwin, who's maybe been testing her patience a bit. You can see some breaks, but then you also see some missed time. So, you know, did something physically happen after, you know, the break 3 back, or was there sickness, you know, coming through? But bottom line is he's come back with some decent qualifiers, and I don't know if he was always a gelding.
Yeah.
In these qualifiers, I'm saying.
Yeah,
Maybe he was gelded recently, too.
That could have been the time
away.
Right? Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. I mean, there's nothing
because he's qualified well both times since.
Right, and, you know, before up till July the 10th, he made 2 breaks up at that point, so you could finally say somebody saying, okay, enough is enough, you know, and let's lighten the load.
Yep. All right. Over to race number 4 to start the pick 6. We've got Grassroots, second division for the 3-year-old trotting fillies. The points leader upgrade is in this spot here from the outside. We talk about the 200 points, and it's because, this one just keeps winning at the Grassroots level. Doesn't maybe necessarily win on those Grassroots starter races in between, but wins when the money's on the line for
points.
that 84 grand too.
The points.
For her, the points. The points and the
seem
money.
to be the thing, right?
Yeah.
I can't believe I put her in for third, because I've used her every single time that she's been in a Grassroots race, and never once has she let me down.
I can't believe, in looking at this now, that I know we have Ontario Grassroots starters races in between. There's kind of a level, here, and then another one. I think it's like 28 and 32. But when you're at the 32, that's more than you're actually going for in the Grassroots itself.
That's what I mean. If you have it,
let's get a Grassrooter.
Yeah, but exactly. And the thing is years ago, like say, when Windsor was still going, or even Ottawa was still going, and you had Grassroots, and you can either ship them 3.5 hours to Windsor, or ship them 5 hours to Ottawa, or stay right here and race for more money. You know what I mean? Like, you're only giving up the points, and if you've already got a few points, why wouldn't you stay here and race for the money? They should be going for this kind of money.
Oh, yeah. I think it's, as when we announced it on the show, I think it was Greg Blanchard that was here, and it's been a long time coming.
It is. Yeah, it is.
So it might seem like a lot of money, but again, for some of these, you're playing kind of catch up.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Like, for instance, there you were talking about the the Meg Crone horse in the race before there that's been kind of hit and miss there so far. Kerwin.
Yep.
I mean, this is an $80,000 purchase. You have to be able to race for this money. He hasn't made a dime yet.
No,
still been in training. Obviously, he's trained all winter. Still in training in August. So you're paying bills on these horses. You need to race.
Yep.
For, good money. Now that one was a non-winners one going for $22,000. But wasn't that long ago? It seemed like maidens were going for around $14,000-15,000. So obviously, that money has to come up.
So no elbows up in here, which Twin B Showbiz is probably happy to see that. And I think you like the way the Chantal Mitchell trainee is trending right now.
Yeah, boy, oh boy, did she ever look good in that last days. This is tough, though, because Barbara May was another one of them ones that took the plunge from the golds down into the grassroots, and she got the job done last week. I'm going to throw her in for second because technically I don't think she wins that race. I think Rhonda May Kay had it won.
Oh, that was that one.
And then she jumped right on the end of it there, but Dougie was really, really smart, and I think he kind of knows how to take Rhonda May down, and that is he doesn't leave her alone. When she was coming to the wire and Dougie was 3 lengths off of her back, he kept driving, and Jody knew it, and Jody went to chase Rhonda May Kay, and off stride she went. And I honestly do believe that it was done like the Dougie realized what was going on, that she was tiring. Jody was going to start to chase her, so he made it even more, and she ends up making a break. But I'm going to throw her in for second. Barbara May. Upgrade going to throw her in for third. This is the first time that I haven't put Upgrade on top in a straight grass route. Where I'm going to go is the Chantel trainee, Twin B Showbiz. Let's take a look at Twin B Showbiz's last start. She's had some other real nice starts with some big wheels on the end of it, but nothing that impressed me any more than what she showed here. I mean, 26-4, if that's right, 26-4.
Had the 8-hole to boot.
Whoa, that's a big effort there. So you can see here with Tyler Borth, she's a big, strong filly. He's just kind of bringing her from, mid-pack, I guess you would say. What I like already is instead of drafting on James's back, he automatically gets to the outside and comes with her. So you wouldn't do that if you were, kind of sucking fumes on James's back. She was obviously loaded at that point. Now he starts to get into a drive on her, and wow, can she ever finish off here?
Elbows up, almost there. Elbows up, just holds on. Twin B Showbiz, second.
What Chad said in the call, almost there. And so I'm going to go Twin B Showbiz in this one. But this, to me, is the toughest division of them all.
Yeah, a couple going Showbiz, a couple going Barbara in here with kind of the usual suspects in behind and, Upgrade and HP Imagine. That's the 4th race, Grassroots. We'll switch to the pace here in race number 5 to close out the early pick 5. We've got a nominators of 1 for the trio Colts and Geldings, a group of 10 in here, some that are pretty light on the experience, some that are trying to, kind of find their way in here. We do have some driver updates, so we already knew juries on Twin B Lamborghini. Jody Jamieson now picks up the drive on Pono Bay Jim Bob. Again, no Bob McClure or Mark McDonald here tonight, so at least we got that driver change taken care of. Favorite is Stampede on the outside, for Craig Bars. In here, this was one that was really looking like he was maybe going to be one of those top gold horses early in the season. And I'm not saying he isn't going to continue to maybe be that way, but right now he's just struggling a little bit, but he's had some tough draws too.
He has had some very tough draws to work with, and he's raced great up till the Battle of Waterloo. And the trip just did not work out for him that day, you know what I mean? And he didn't really come up with his best effort. Best finish. Then his next start is a gold. He draws the 9 hole. So now he's got to go to the back with him, and he finishes up pretty good. Comes the back half in 55 seconds flat for a mile in 52-3. Last 3 quarters too was pretty nice. Last 3 quarters in 123 flat. So I thought it was a good effort, even though he didn't pick up any gold points in that one. Now he drops into a maiden. I kind of got to go with him in here.
Good spot to get that win. Get a little confidence ahead of the next gold test, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If that's where you're going.
If that's where you're going, So, I think that he kind of stands out in here. Whiskey Stinger, I think's racing good. Dungeons, interested with this one. Second time Gallucci and Twin B Lamborghini got him down in for 4th. And you said Jonathan Drury picking that one up.
Twin B Lamborghini, yeah. And I think, the beauty of Stampede, tough draws in the last couple, and it's kind of forced this one to race at the back. can now go back to being aggressive early.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly,
Yeah.
for sure. And I just think that he, from the buzz that we heard about him and the way that we watched him race those first few, I think that this is, real nice way to get your first win of the year.
All right. 2-year-old trotting fillies in race number 6 for the Grassroots or Prospect starters. So this is that class that goes for $28,000. Again, it allows some prospect starters in here as well. We had a nice prospect starter that was able to win in the Grassroots the other night. Will Ferrell.
Oh, yeah.
I like to play on the name there, too.
Yeah. Did you see the clip of him there jogging on Mulholland Drive? He's out there jogging, Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And a tour bus pulls up alongside of him, and everybody's like, yelling to him and that. And I mean, he's like as happy as can be that all of his fans are there watching him run there. You know what I mean? It just seems like he's kind of like one of them guys that's just a easygoing kind of guy, no matter where he is or what he's doing.
Yeah, no.
We certainly enjoy him.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, we do. We know some people that don't.
Yes,
but,
we do.
but yeah, no, we certainly do. So this 2-year-old filly trot here, Majestic Eva on the outside. She is favored in the morning line. I'm not sure she is going to be the choice in here
Not sure
necessarily.
either.
She's been double digits pretty consistently. Is this an easier spot for her, in your opinion?
I think this race is wide open. Whether I would consider it easy or not, I'll tell you after the race is over.
Yeah.
But looking at it beforehand, I think it's wide open. You can go a million different ways. And where I ended up going, because it's so wide open, how can you not be like your eye drawn to that 25-4 last
Seen that
quarter?
if it's correct.
If it's correct,
right?
Snow Dream. But if you go down, like she does have a couple of sub 29s already, so you would have to think that maybe she did have that ability. I mean, she only went in 2, 2, and 4. She was only at the half in 6, but still, that is wicked speed. So I'm going to take a chance with Snow Dream Hanover. Hope that is a true last quarter, and hope that she minds her business tonight. And
It would be a
stays at it.
G-Max final quarter, I think, so it's probably correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like it's just so fast.
Well, we just don't see it. I mean,
No,
it's
two-year-old
rare to see it
filly
anyway,
trotters?
but then,
Yeah.
Trotter nonetheless.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So anyway, that's the route that I'm going to go, and just
Okay.
got to hope that she minds her manners, because if she minds her manners and she possesses that kind of speed at the end of it, all that Tyler has to do is just let the race, bring her into it, and then, he should be good to go.
All right, that's race 6. That starts the late pick 5. We're going to skip over 7. We're going to head to 8. This is the third and final Grassroots division for those sophomore trotting fillies, a group of 7. We've already kind of talked about some of these. Rhonda May Kay. This one's trying to, get back on track. We know that she's got loads of talent, but she's, a lot of times she'll beat herself. With some breaks, that seems to be her downfall. Good qualifier getting ready. And she was in there with HP Crystalline, who you're going to have a look back at that qualifier, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going to show that qualifier actually of hers. She had a bit of a gap, right? Her last race was July the 12th, and then shows up in the qualifiers August the 14th. So, a month in between starts. But again, she was racing, she won a gold back in May. She's been racing decently in the gold. She had a good year last year, picked up 80,000 in 7 starts. I think that this is, the drop down into the Grassroots. I think that Chantel's being aggressive with HP Crystalline, and hopefully that they're aggressive with her in here tonight. So let's take a look at HP Crystalline. Louis Waugh sitting behind this one. And, Rhonda May Kay finishes second to her in this one, but I wouldn't put a lot of stock into that one. Qualifiers in the morning. I mean, Jody, all he really wants is that clean line, so he's not going to stoke this girl up. She doesn't need confidence or anything like that. Really, she doesn't. She just needs to mind her manners on the end of it. The ability that she has is still there. Everything that way. It just seems to me that if she gets a little bit tired, or if they over race her a little bit in the mile, that's when you get the jump. So again, I think this is the best thing that he can do for her. Both fillies up front, both looking very, very comfortable. None any better than the other one. So
You might be able to get the same trip tonight.
could get the exact same trip, you know, or maybe HB Crystalline will be sitting on Rhonda May Kay's back. Who knows? Because he likes to race Rhonda May, up front as well, So who knows with Rhonda May Kay, but HB Crystalline is the route that I'm going to go.
And again, I'm just speculating, but I kind of like the approach Chantel's going. You know what? We got a stale date.
Right.
Coming back.
Right.
She already won a gold this year. Instead of going back to the gold, she says, let's go to the Grassroots
Go
right
to the
now.
Grassroots and see, and plus
Yeah.
you get some more confidence built
Yeah.
up. And like you said earlier too, I mean, it's a $30,000 race.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. All right, so that's race number 8. More trotters in the 9th. The last one we're going to talk about here on the program, 2-year-olds, nominators of 1. A group of 8 in here for Liberty, who you talked about. That one was second to Boncho Blue Chip last week as the outside. James Macdonell will drive. Still need a driver on the 1 Semi No Flowers, which I know you're intrigued by that because you're a big fan of this one here tonight, and you were liking the idea of Mark because he got familiar with this guy in the qualifier.
Well, the big thing is Mark's driving King's Lady for Chantal and had a win in his last start with this one, and now elects to go with Send Me No Flowers. Now, Mark's not going to be here tonight, but I'm going to show you the last qualifier, this qualifier, because if you look at all the rest of his lines, there's certainly nothing really to write home about. Some of the bottom ones don't look too bad. I guess, for a 2-year-old dropping into a maiden, he's trotted a few times in 57. Good last quarters, but this last qualifier is a nice one. So let's take a look at Send Me No Flowers. Prophetic words for Randall Waples that you don't send me no flowers when it's done time for me to go, Chad.
Well,
so
hopefully not too soon.
Yeah, now this is interesting because look at how much ground, and this is why I wanted to show you this replay. He makes up a ton of ground with this one, and I love the way that he makes it up. At all times, this one is on go. This Send Me No Flowers. I can't remember who, well, obviously it's the horse that ended up winning it. So this is HP Sophia.
3-year-old filly.
Right, yeah. Up in front. And I mean, just the way that he just keeps gathering up ground and gathering up ground. And another tell on this as well is that when Mark starts to get close, he doesn't come up on his back. He automatically goes to the outside because I think this guy is making up so much ground at this point that he wanted to get him out and get him going. So now at this point, again, what is he going to do? This is a 3-year-old filly up in front. That's not a bad filly. And here he comes that used to be making a lot of breaks. And I mean, Mark, to me, he's keeping his attention, but he's not going full tilt on this guy. And again, I just look at the amount of ground that he was able to make up and just misses, but on the run out, it looks like he maybe gets his head out in front. So Send Me No Flowers is how I'm going to go. Fort Liberty's going to be tough in here. Didn't use King's Lady. That could come back and really, really bite me big time with Louis jumping up on that one. Mahalo in for third. And the one that I also very, very interested in is this King's Crown and Coke. First start Lasix, we didn't get to see that. He was scratched, judges retention, so this is going to be the first start Lasix. But look at the bottom lines of Hivs, Chad. I mean, he wins his last baby race, then he comes out his very first effort in the Grassroots, cuts it out, wins in 56, but just gets there, and then all of a sudden he does a chop, he fades. Next start, races down in amongst them, fades a little bit on the end of it. Now he shows up on the Lasix. This could make a big, big difference with King's Crown and Coke.
And sorry, is the 6 scratched out of this race, Jason? Oh, okay. I didn't notice that on there. I was just going to say, I'm like, nobody's using the 6. And then I'm like, well, Garnett's got the horse picked for second. So whoop-de-doo, Hanover scratched out of there, which I think that one was going to be a player.
I used her very first start here before she disappeared to the States. And she had no answers for Cold Breeze, but raced very, very well. That's another one. What happened to Cold Breeze? I haven't seen her racing lately.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure. All right. That's going to be it for me. A reminder that the High Five, a couple more days to play before the mandatory Saturday, almost 229,000. I'm going to head upstairs, but Randy's got you covered with his early pick 5, which does start in a few minutes. Good luck down here tonight. He's also got some plays of the night.
Okay, great, super. Thanks for all the help, Chad. And have some fun up there tonight. Don't lean too far out of the booth either when you're calling the races. Okay, so we're going to start this early pick 5, and it's not going to be too overly expensive. Well, $36 one, but I'm going to go Jyn Erso and Flawless Lady in the first one. Then I'm going to go a little deeper in race number 2, 3 deep. Belichica, Elbows Up, and Rare Legacy. I think all 3 of those are very logical. Then race number 3, staying 3 deep. Our Northern Star, T.H. Patrick, and Kerwin. Race number 4, tuning it back down to 2 deep. Barbara May, B Showbiz will be my top pick in there. And then the single comes in race number 5, and that is going to be Stampede, who I think dropping from the gold level down into the maiden is going to be very, very tough tonight. Okay, and some plays of the night to take a look at before we come back, and we will be back soon here. So mine's going to start off in race number 1, and that's Waples Watch is going to be Jyn Erso. Showed you the replay on her, but from about 3 races down. Not the last gold, the second last gold. Beat the favorite, T.H. Patrick. I thought he had a real good race in his last. All in's going to be Stampede for Trevor Henry and Craig Barse, and worth a look. Send Me No Flowers. We just showed you that replay. I think that this could be a very, very live drive for whoever picks this one up. And what else do we have on tap with the resident handicappers? Ghislaine Paquette in race number 1 is going to go Flawless Lady, new team. That is true. She's going to be leaving the Paul Macdonell barn, heading to the Julie Walker stable. Garnet Barnsdale is going to go race number 7, Wild Rose Hanover. Spot play for this Ron Waples Jr. trainee. And Kevin Plaucha. This is an interesting, very, very nice pull of the trigger for Mr. Plaucha. Unsurpassable. I have her in for 4th and got her down as sneaky good on the end of it. If you get a chance to look at that last replay, she was really, really live in here. I just didn't have the guts to put her up on top. I'm glad to see that Kevin did. I am using her in my pick 6 and my late pick 5. So I do think she is very playable. I think that that's a risky move. Value play is the way that Kevin has it worded, and it's true. But she raced incredibly well in that last start, if you can just get by the 10 hole. Okay, so that's going to do it for us. We'll be back to talk to you after the post parade of race number 1. Stick around. Big night on hand tonight.